Welcome, heathens and witches, to the Horn
and Cauldron
podcast. But this is the pub chat version, so beers. Although technically, no, don't bring that water into this beer house. Yeah, that's an affront. Yeah, it's an affront.
I didn't really plan this very well.
It's an affront to pubs and chats, so none of that. So welcome to a pub chat. I'm John Norgrove. This is Julie Norgrove. We're doing the thing again. It's
we are your witchy heathen friends.
Yeah. Welcome. We so just recently this pub chat is brought to you by Aphrodisia.
Yeah, it is actually.
So recently was Aphrodisia. For the people who are new, our regular episodes, which are our full-length episodes, are every other week, and on the off weeks we do these pub chats where we just kind of chit-chat about whatever. Sometimes it's answering questions, sometimes it's life updates, sometimes it's how we celebrated a thing or whatever. So now you know what a pub chat is and what's happening.
AKA stuff I don't have to do a whole bunch of research about.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
But also, what was I going to say? Business, something about liking and subscribing or leaving a review or something like that. Whatever.
You guys know.
You know the routine, man. I shouldn't have to say this stuff. So, yeah. Recently was Aphrodisia, and we had a whole weekend for Aphrodisia.
Sure did.
We had a whole weekend for Aphrodisia, full of event. Some of it went according to plan, some of it not so according to plan, but it worked out in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
but as we always say, it is not about celebrating on the specific holiday, but kind of treating it like a season, and that's kind of what we did, because over the last 2 weeks, we've basically celebrated Aphrodisia.
It really has been more like a week and a half or what have you. Yeah, so first things first, what's Aphrodisia?
So, Aphrodisia is the yearly festival of Aphrodite. And in ancient times, this festival was typically a 3-day festival. It took place starting on the 4th day of the 4th month or the 3rd month. I don't remember off the top of my head. Hekatombion is the name of the month. And
Hekatombion, yeah.
Yeah, the way that you calculate this stuff is, well, I mean, we use different calendars than they did back in like ancient
Well, we've
Greece.
been able to do it before. I mean, you got to give me all the rules.
So,
I can calculate
I don't remember
what it
off
is.
the top of my head, but I calculate it like 3 or 4 times, and most of the time I am correct. So essentially, it is sort of falls in
Aphrodite celebration?
The Aphrodite celebration kind of falls in like late June to like early August. And like, I know that's kind of a large swath of time, but it has to do with like when the new moons are and stuff like that. So
it's like Chocolate and Oyster Sans attack from Mars.
Yeah, basically.
You know?
So back in ancient times, you would Aphrodisia was a 3-day festival. Most ancient Greek festivals, as far as we are aware, were about 3 days, which is kind of fun.
Party hangover.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So kind of like a 3-day weekend, kind of an affair.
But ours was 4.
Yeah, ours was
weekend.
4 plus asterisk.
Well, I mean, plus a bunch of the other stuff. So, so for our Aphrodisia celebration, we started off the party, as it were, with a whole day at the theater.
Yeah.
Because we went and experienced Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Which we did a review for on our YouTube channel, so you can go check that out for our like in-depth like full spoiler review if you've seen them.
Not just a review of each individual movie, but the whole experience of
a movie of Barbie, a movie of Barbie, bloody hell, a review of Barbie, a review of Oppenheimer, and then a review of the concept and thing that is Barbenheimer,
as well as some of the stuff that we watched to prime ourselves.
Yeah, like
for
prep
Barbie.
stuff and like sort of like insider stuff that we had heard or what have you. So check that out if you're interested in that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we got to do that, which was super fun. Which I feel like, I mean, I know it's a movie theater and it's different, but I feel like there's nothing quite so Greek or Roman as like starting a celebration at the theater.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Doing some indulgent stuff, so getting
that super
Barbie
worked
on.
out. And then we also went to the beach, which it was one of those, like, we're going to go on Saturday, and then Saturday was busy, and we're going to go on Sunday, and then Sunday was busy, so we ended up going on Monday, which actually worked out because, like, everybody that we knew who had gone to the beach during the weekend
because
was
it
just
ended
like,
up being a
it's
very,
a
very hot weekend.
Yeah,
in
it was
our
a very
area.
hot weekend out here for us.
And luckily, we not only had like that Monday off, but we also live very close to the beach.
Oh yeah, we're like a quick trip, so
we're
that
able
was
to
really good.
get there in and out, and had a great time at the beach. I got nice and sunburned, but not too bad.
Yeah.
And
I did a whole beach hike. I walked literally
did
from
a
like
whole
one
beach
end
hike.
of the beach. I found a sea throne. I found this like stone like seat that was like worn down stone, like it wasn't carved, like worn down stone seat that was like perfect for you to like lounge in. That was like right at the edge of the surf.
Yeah.
That was like back, like behind another like rock structure, so you wouldn't see it from like a traditional place or whatever. So that was super cool. Went on a good beach hike, did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, didn't do much playing in the water.
I got in the water because if I'm near the ocean, I have to.
Yeah,
touch
the water
it.
was a bit cold, but also our oceans are a bit murdery here in Northern California.
Yeah, if you're not water gangster, don't touch our ocean. It's
some nice rocks.
Violent. Yeah,
and we had a generally nice time. And then afterwards,
separated the sand by color while we were sitting in the sun enjoying lunch and such like that. Right, that's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
because I'm crazy. It's fine. I know how that sounds.
And then we collected some seawater to sort of redo our
to cleanse the altar space.
And after that, went and grabbed some beers and some of the best tacos we've ever had.
Dog. These it was like, oh, the kitchen's closed at this bar we went to. They're like, the kitchen's closed, but we're gonna have like tacos out front, al pastor tacos out front, and we're just like, okay, well, like we're gonna like hang out here and have beers or what have you. And we had one of these, we had a grip of these al pastor tacos, and they were so fucking good, dude.
The guy
they were like life changing.
They're the best al pastor tacos you'll ever have, and we were like, oh my god, this guy's right.
Yeah, we were like, bet, dog. I don't know, like we have a lot of this kind of stuff, and then come to find out, yeah, he was right. So
yeah, he was
that's
right.
Gangster.
Best al pastor tacos ever.
But so we got to do that, and then we like barbecued. We made a bunch of. We had like a seafood extravaganza. Yeah, barbecued a bunch of fish, or like smoke grilled. It's more like smoke grilled.
Yeah.
And you made Maritum.
Yeah, I made Moritum, which is an ancient Roman condiment that sort of ends up as like a garlicky, almost a cream cheese texture.
Yeah, it's like garlic cream cheese, except the cream cheese you use is goat cheese, and the garlic you use is more than you think is acceptable. And if you reduce the amount of garlic, shame on you, and shame on your family, and shame on your ancestors.
And it's also
because it's so fucking good, dude.
It's also
like
made
spicy.
using a mortar and pestle. So we'll tell you a little bit about the Moritum. So recently there was a fresco in Pompeii that was discovered.
Yeah.
And on it, the whole internet was abuzz because it looked like the ancestor to pizza. But the thing that I actually got excited about was the things that they actually made the stuff out of. So it wasn't pizza. It was more like a focaccia bread, but also like a trencher, so it's like baked extra hard and crispy. Yeah. So that your bread is a plate that you can also eat. It's essentially a food plate that you eat.
So that's a thing that they had. And this was like way before tomatoes got to this continent.
Yeah,
so like nowhere close to pizza, when you think of like a tradish Pete's. But it had this Moritum on it.
So Moritum is a condiment that was very popular in ancient Rome, and we actually have a couple of different recipes from a few different ancient recipe bloggers about it. And I went with the one that Tasting History, Max Miller, his YouTube channel, had. And so we modified it a little bit. So we used 1 head of garlic cloves raw, and we used about 1/3 of a bunch of parsley and about 1/3 of a bunch of cilantro, and then we used one of those small little chubs of goat cheese and ground all that up.
a handful.
And
couple
like a
leaves
little bit of
basil,
basil leaves.
basil. Yeah. Because this is all like sort of stuff that we could harvest from the garden as best as we could. So.
And a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of red wine vinegar, and just sort of mix that all together in the mortar and pestle. In the video, he used a food processor, but we actually don't have a food processor.
We don't have an electric food processor. So we have upgraded to a higher form of consciousness. We have a manual food processor. Let me tell you right now, whatever you're doing in your kitchen, it's a little wrong because a drawstring, like a pull string food processor is the solution. So like imagine trying to start up like a chainsaw or like a lawnmower or something like that, except instead it's a cute bear's face and you're yanking on one of its ears. And that is on top of like a bowl with blades. It's the best thing ever.
It's
dude.
satisfying.
It's so
to
good.
Use,
it's super easy.
clean.
You can get exactly as fine a grind. I mean, it's not like I'm only putting like soft shit in there, dog.
Well,
like,
we're not.
I've ground like carrots and shit in that thing.
We're not making like almond butter out of this guy. Like, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. I mean, I will take that challenge on with my body.
Could we have used that to make the mortar tomb? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I used my brand new mortar and pestle that
we got a molcajete. So not like a regular mortar and pestle. Again, improved form. Molcajete. If you're looking for a mortar and pestle to add to your witchy life, look at getting a molcajete.
Yeah.
They're like larger and honestly better. I just like it's just better than a standard mortar and pestle in my mind, right? And, you treat it like a cast iron, so you're going to, like, oil it and do all that kind of stuff. But it's nice,
so
dude.
we made that and enjoyed that, and boy,
So much,
we became very rapidly obsessed with this stuff.
Instantly
It
addicted.
is, first of all, the garlic is so hot in it as to
so
be,
garlicky.
like, spicy.
Yeah.
So it is not for the faint of heart, and could you use less garlic? Yes. But you're not really getting the full taste. One of the things that we've talked about on a previous episode, and I do not remember.
We've talked about this in several things.
But the Romans were like, they had this idea that like the more boldly you did something, the more the better things would turn out for you.
But with boldness, you become closer to gods, right?
Yeah.
Like that sort of a thing. So flavor wise, you went like big. Right, you want it like big flavor, and of course, if it's like too garlicky for you, then put less on the thing that you're eating, or eat it with something that's gonna like mild that up. Right?
Yeah.
It's the like if you got too much, if your soup is too spicy, put a tablespoon of sour cream in there, stir it around, it's gonna cut that spice right down.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that sort of a thing. So this Martum is so garlicky.
I've made like 5 more batches.
So good, dude. Yeah.
Since then.
We also made a special Jonathan batch, which has like chipotle in it and like a bunch of my hot sauce. And honestly, it's not as spicy as I want it to be.
It's very
but
spicy.
It's pretty. I made like a habanero pineapple hot sauce. So I've just like affronted a bunch of cultures in combining this with Maratum. But it's so tasty,
but
man.
It definitely
I can't stop myself from eating
like
it.
having that and having like smoked salmon, and we had smoked oysters, and having like crackers and cheese and like a little bit of cured meats really felt kind of special because it was like very Aphrodite.
So it worked out such that the time that we were like, all right, like we want to make this Martum and we want to like get going and all this kind of stuff, right? We had like had these plans and whatever, and then like middle of the day, boom,
power went out.
Power goes out. So we're like, all right. I mean, we're like, this isn't our first rodeo, right? We do all the stuff, protect, close everything else down in the house so that way the circuits are protected. When the power comes back on, I immediately switched over to battery-powered lights because I have battery-powered lights throughout the house, as well as a battery-powered speaker so we could like have music or like some sort of background noise going on. So it's not just nightmarish forest sounds as far as the ear can hear, which is very far from me. So that's fun. And so we went out into the backyard next to the garden and set up a nice folding table.
Yeah.
And I sat out there and with just a ruler and a pencil and drew up plans for some projects I have around the house. So that was like a fun sort of vibe while I'm drawing up like detailed plans for like cuts and such like that for like board plans for shelves and other structures that I need to work on around the house. Julie made like martum and like from scratch in a mortar and pestle, and like sliced up all these like meats and cheeses and all this, and we had like grapes and mango and strawberries and so we had this like very kind of like fantastical celebration where we really kind of got to just like sit in nature, and it's a benefit of living in the woods where we live, but it's like sit in and experience nature and just sort of like create and snack. It was
and hang out with each other and just sort of like live that life. Yeah. I also made a brand new flower crown, which I have been working on for a while. For those of you watching the YouTube channel, I'm wearing it now.
Yeah. Do you have a picture of it up on your socials?
I absolutely have not. I've only worn it like a couple of times. I was originally planning on having it be like a little more low key than it ended up being, and this is very high key. I do not regret it, but I'm just like, maybe I need more of these weird plastic flowers so I can make another one of these. Because also, why not? So we did all that. And then last night, the last part of it was redoing our altar space. We hadn't redone it in a while. So
our altar spaces.
Cleaning and redecorating. And then we also used the salt water from the ocean to cleanse it, and particularly Aphrodite's statue. I worship Aphrodite as one of the religious practices, I guess you could say, that I do, and she has like a little spot, and she has sand, and I have a little statue that I made of her, so all of that stuff got cleansed with salt water, and that was sort of it was sort of the end of our Aphrodisia, which is kind of funny because that's sort of the beginning of what you would normally do for an ancient Aphrodisia. So in a lot of these ancient Greek celebrations, you had like specific days corresponding to specific acts, but you kind of don't have that as much with Aphrodisia. There's only like one of those. So back in ye old times in Aphrodisia, people would go to one of the temples of Aphrodite, and at the temple they would sacrifice a dove, and they would use the blood of the dove to purify the altar space. But after that, there were to be no blood sacrifices. And on the first day, also, people would bring their statues of Aphrodite, or also of Priapus, and a few other deities or are sort of adjacent to Aphrodite, and wash those in the waters from the temple. Sometimes those waters are big basins of seawater brought fresh, and sometimes those are just standard basins of water, like regular drinking type water, and to cleanse those. And then after that, you kind of did whatever you wanted for the rest of Aphrodisia. There was not a specific activity for day 2 and for day 3.
Sure.
So we kind of did it a little backwards in that respect, but we don't have any qualms with it, and Aphrodite does not either.
The altar space is nice and clean, and we had a bunch of good food and kind of got like a bunch of stuff done around like both like around the house and like around Aphrodisia as we like wanted to get done.
And we had a good time hanging out with each other too.
It was like a chill celebration.
Because Aphrodite is all about luxury and also love. I think a lot of people really put the love thing first, but Aphrodite, and we do have a deep dive for Aphrodite. I'm not sure exactly what episode that is, but it is a fantastic one. And Aphrodite is not just a goddess of love. She's also a goddess of self-love and acceptance. She is a goddess of passion, and she is a goddess of luxury, so relaxing and doing things that you want that are indulgent, caring for yourself, caring for those that you love, enjoying things that make you feel good, and also if you piss her off, she's also a goddess of war.
She'll cut you.
She will, in fact, cut you. So, so we definitely honored a lot of the themes of Aphrodite during this year's Aphrodisia, which I am super happy about. Last year, we did not really get a chance to do much, and I had requested time off from work so that we can do it, and we made a whole to-do about it. And it was wonderful. It was much
it turned out really dope. It was like a super chill time. I mean, I think really like kind of starting the whole celebration with Barbenheimer kind of worked out in that we got to sort of like set a tone for Aphrodisia, and we made sure not to like worry too much about the structure of what we wanted to do, and it became more about just like kind of doing what fit and what worked, with the time that we had. And like when the days were hot, it was just like, we could do a bunch of stuff, or we can not.
We can go out to the beach where everybody is going to be, or we can stay at home and relax and then put that off for a day.
Yeah, be more chill and like just watch we watched a ton of good movies, like, caught up on like a bunch of
I forgot about
like,
cookies.
Netflix stuff.
I made cookies
you made
too.
Cookies for Aphrodisia? Those turned out so good
I made rose water sugar cookies with a kaffir lime glaze, and rose and both limes are representative of Aphrodite. They're correspondences for her. And I got these cute little like sea creature molds. So I had them shaped like shells and decorated them and everything. So they were really fantastic cookies, and I'm absolutely going to make them again.
Yeah, they turned out super good. So yeah, man. I mean, I think it was an overall fantastic Aphrodisia.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So what did you celebrate for Aphrodisia out there, dear listener?
Or what would you do?
Or what would you do? Or what are your plans for next year now that you know that Aphrodisia's, dope? Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so what are your plans for next year? I mean, I don't even know what our plans are for next year. But
yeah, well, we've talked about maybe getting away for the weekend, and if we did, we would basically do more or less the same thing, just in a different location. Yeah. But definitely close to the ocean. As Aphrodite is a goddess of water. She is not a water goddess, but she is a goddess that is birthed by the water. So she's very connected to the sea.
Yeah.
And, so if we do anything, it'll definitely be adjacent to the ocean.
Yeah, well, and I always want to go to the ocean.
Yeah.
So.
Why would we go somewhere else?
Yeah, why not? So yeah, this was a real fun Aphrodisia. We'll I'll splice in somewhere around here-ish or somewhere. I don't know, a picture of the altar, maybe a flyby. I don't know how it's going to frame up.
Maybe that picture of the beach. We only took one picture of the beach.
I did take one, but one picture of the beach.
Yeah.
Because I'm so bad at creating content, man. Let me tell you.
Well, you know what? We were enjoying the day.
Yeah. Dude, I got like halfway through my like beach hike and was like, I should have brought my cell phone. I've seen so many cool things. Like from where we were on the beach, it was like beach. It just goes on that direction. And then like I went on my beach hike and I found like a dried up ravine.
Yeah.
And walked through that, and there was like a bunch of plants and like a bunch of like dope like sitting resting logs and like all kind of, it was such a cool trip.
Just relaxed.
She just laid on the sand.
Sunbathed. Yeah. Also, I did not want to get up and hike on the beach because my feet got burned. Like I got like basically a sunburn on the soles of my feet. Oh. The sand was so hot. It was that hot here, y'all.
I mean, the sand was pretty hot. You just walk different.
I have not been able to take
that way the whole foot doesn't burn evenly.
I technically still have one more Aphrodisia activity that I need to do, and I'm only like in the next few days going to be able to do it, and that's to take like an Aphrodisia bath because I got sunburned at the beach and I didn't want to take a bath whilst sunburned.
Well, sure, yeah, that seems like probably a thing that you don't do.
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea, but it's uncomfortable. I've taken baths with sunburn before, and it's best to wait.
That. Yeah.
Because you don't want it. Because your like tolerance to like hot and cold is different.
Because of the sunburn?
Because of the sunburn.
Learn something every day, I guess.
We've never had sunburn, really.
Nah, I mean, like maybe once or twice, but like barely. Even that was like tiny sunburn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, that was our Aphrodisia celebration. We'd love to hear what you guys think about it.
Yeah.
And how you would celebrate Aphrodisia.
What did you do for Aphrodisia this year? If you did celebrate Aphrodisia.
And would you be interested in a guide for how to celebrate Aphrodisia?
Celebration guide, yeah.
Or like a menu planning thing around it.
Maybe just a written recipe for Maritum, because it's delicious.
Or those cookies.
You want some Maritum.
Or the
trust
festival bread.
Trust me.
Yeah,
You want Maritum.
absolutely.
I can't resist. It's a fucking actual problem. Genuinely, dude. Yeah. I grilled hot dogs the other day. I put Maritum on my buns. It was just hot dog Maritum.
We had it with breakfast today.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, eggs and naan bread.
Yeah,
and
Maritum naan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good.
And tomatoes and basil and bacon. That was really a slamming breakfast.
It was pretty fire.
Yeah.
It was pretty fire. So, yeah. Either way, I have been John Norgrove. This has been Julie Norgrove. This has been The Horn.
And Cauldron
Podcast. Pub chat, but I ran out of beer. Don't worry about it. And
I still have water.
She's still drinking water, guys.
I feel really
I'm trying.
dehydrated today.
Yeah. Well, that's why you drink beer. It's got water in it.
I don't want that beer.
Yeah. What is it? Olympia brand? It's in the water or something like that?
It's because it tastes gross.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
don't know.
Trust me. You will have one sip of that and be like, oh, regret.
Never mind. Yeah. Well, I drank a stout.
Somebody out there listening to this
do you
is
drink
like,
Olympia?
that's their favorite beer. And they're like,
what do you feel about that? So I'm an IPA and stout guy, whatever. Yeah, so whatever. Leave us a comment and talk to us about your Aphrodisia and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to our patrons for being absolute gangsters. You guys are the best. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for helping us do what we do a little better every time.
That's true. And to everybody else, thank you for listening, and we will catch you guys next time for more stuff.
Yeah. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Let us it's weird. We got a lot of stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
We're fun. So we'll catch you guys next time. Stay magical, folks.
Yeah. And don't forget, breathe in self-confidence and breathe out self-doubt.
Yeah.